So, what is the latest update on the Argentinian CBI? A lot of people are waiting for Argentina passport, right? The passport program, the citizenship by investment. And I'm going to discuss the latest and greatest as far as the Argentina process is concerned. I'm also going to discuss if it makes sense to wait for Argentina. Everyone is anticipating two programs. One is the Botswana CBI, and I've discussed this in a lot of detail. And if you have missed my coverage on this one, definitely return and take a look at this video. I've compared some alternatives that you should consider or you can consider. But here I'm going to talk about Argentina. Now, is this, yes, we know what we know so far is the threshold is most likely going to be 500K USD. The program is supposed to go live probably by the end of this year or early next year if things go picture perfect. But with a country like Argentina and the threat that it faces from Schengen, from EU, from US, those countries absolutely hate CBI programs. If Argentina wants to keep all the rich access that it always had on the passport, is one of the strongest passports. If it wants to keep it strong, then it better not come up with a CBI, because the moment it comes up with a CBI, it will earn a couple of bucks, but then it runs a great chance of losing that visa-free access to key important countries. The ETA will kill that option for any investor who's trying to purchase that citizenship. But what is the price point? 500K is being discussed because a lot of vendor agencies that have submitted their tenders for the Argentina program, they have pitched 500K USD. Now, a lot of people might be thinking at this point, is it real estate investment? Is it donation? It's not going to be real estate, okay? It's definitely not going to be real estate. It's definitely not going to be a pay for passport option, because as I said earlier, the moment it's a passport in exchange for money, that program will lose all the Schengen access. And the country is not stupid the people are not stupid to make that happen or let that happen. So you're definitely going to see some logical investment in certain industries. So yes, you're funding a lot of important projects. So you're creating some incentive for the country. You're playing a substantial role in the growth of the country through investment in strategic projects and programs. But that also happens in Caribbean. Here, what's going to be different is you would have to establish some logical connections, some logical ties to the country. So yes, like Turkey wants now change their program to create a residency first, and then you apply for citizenship. In Argentina, this is going to be more structured, where yes, there'll be some flexibility on that residency, maybe 30 days per year, but you have to establish some logical residency first. That is at least what is being expected of that program. Is it going to be anytime soon? No, because it's going to be a complex initiative. Argentina is not a small island nation where tomorrow they're going to change a couple of rules and launch a CBI program. It's going to be a long drawn effort. Does it make sense to wait? Well, I think for most people, for what you're looking for, a quick citizenship, an easy citizenship, it is not going to be easy. It's going to be bureaucratic. The processing times at least, I think, would be a year or year and a half. Considering it's going to be a new program, I'm thinking at least a year or year and a half would be the processing time. In order to be eligible, in order to complete your investment, in order to go through the process, I think it'll take 6 months to at least a year. So you're definitely looking at a couple of years of time to citizenship. You could also naturally move there, spend a couple of years currently, and can still apply for citizenship. The only difference at this point is going to be physical presence waiver. So instead of spending 2 years in Argentina and then being eligible for citizenship, with a CBI program, you're going to be sitting at home, maybe spend 30 days or 60 days. We got to look at what the physical presence would be mandated for the new program. And then, of course, do your investment in a certain industry. Maybe there's a job creation requirement under a certain option or more donation. It all depends. So maybe the way I'm thinking is it would be a 500K in a certain industry with certain number of jobs to be created, or 500K of donation plus some other amount of donation, and that makes it covers up for the job requirement. So something like that would need to be in place in order for this program to go live. The other thing that Milai is trying to do is try to get a visa-free access to the US. Now, I think there's 99.9% or no chance, I feel, of acquiring the US visa-free access. It's a good marketing pitch for that program. But considering that they want to establish good relations or maintain good relations with the US, I feel the program has to be a hybrid option between a residency-based and obviously a CBI-style donation-based program. Does it make sense to wait for this program? I personally feel it makes zero sense for most of you watching to wait for that program. Yes, if at some point if it comes out, yes, you can think about it. But what are the options right now in the CBI space that do make sense? The three options within the CBI space. And before I get to the three passport options, what's really important is to strike Argentina style natural paper residencies. Now, Argentina is not a paper residency anymore. So what can you do? You can still establish 3 to 4 solid, strong, robust paper residencies for you and your family. The number one option, undisputed, the best in all of Latin America, is the Uruguay direct permanent residency for
You
you
can
and
apply
your.
for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport. But you need to
Really?
live. Yes, but you,
Wow. So that's how fast it is? 6 months to 12
yes,
months?
yes, but
There's extreme buzz, and the buzz is about now being able to qualify using job salary, active salary. And you mentioned 1200 USD is sort of the threshold that people should show.
Permanent
I wanted to
residency
hear
for
more
you and
about
your
this.
family. And in 3 days, this whole process can be taken care of. And we have our team established in Uruguay. My head of legal had a separate discussion outlining the entire process. If you have missed that all important video, you can return and take a look at this one. But it offers you a 3-day path to permanent residency. And then after, and the physical presence is not required. Once in 3 years, you enter and you maintain the permanent residency. Now, you could apply for citizenship between 3 to 5 years, depending upon your circumstances. Citizenship would require more connections to the country. And again, you can work with us. We can discuss what are the requirements, collectively build a strategy. Citizenship is something that you are interested in. We can discuss that. We can have a chat and then accordingly plan that or sequence that the way you're looking for it. On the same trip, what really makes sense is to add Paraguay, which is a low-hanging fruit. You use the same set of documents, knock off Uruguay, then move to Asunción. So you move from Montevideo to Asunción, spend a couple of days, strike Paraguay, collect the residency from there. And the third one that is my personal favorite is the Mexico permanent residency or temporary residency. Based on your circumstances, you can qualify for either or. And the fun thing is Mexico card process takes just 1 day. So we prep ahead of time. Of course, if you need a visa, then that's what you get in 7 to 10 days. Of course, you can plan for your visa process. But once that's knocked out, then it takes 45 minutes to get the Mexico card process done. And we have a separate team in Mexico, and you land and you complete the procedure. And in 45 minutes, you can knock off that card. If Mexico is not your thing, or if you're not eligible for Mexico, then you can also look at Panama, which offers two pathways. One is a travel passport option. That is one of the most powerful. Passports does not even require citizenship. The other option is a permanent residency, a flexible paper permanent residency, just like Mexico. They both function similar in terms of the paper requirements. But then again, if you're looking to naturalize, Mexico is a far better option. Now, in terms of the CBI, what are the options that you're looking at? I think the three top contenders are STP, the cheapest citizenship that's available on the market, CPLP connection. And a lot of you watching have this big question. The CPLP connection to Portugal, is it going to make it a lot easier to get the Portuguese golden visa or Portuguese CPLP residency or D6 or D7 or D8? If you want to listen to my honest opinion on this topic, you can return and watch this video. I've covered this in a lot of detail. But STP is the cheapest citizenship at 97K, 95 plus some fees, so now 97, 98K approximately. You're comparing this directly with Nauru. Nauru has come up with a heavy one-time discount. You can include a lot of family members, which other programs don't allow. So Nauru is the second thing that you're comparing this with. The third thing that you're comparing this with is Vanuatu. My personal honest opinion is, if you have, and because the margins are so narrow, I think any day, what really makes sense in 2026 is Vanuatu. If privacy is your main concern, if priority citizenship is your main concern, the fastest processing time is your main concern, the fastest time to get citizenship is just one benefit. I think what's truly magical in 2026 is the privacy that you have. I mean, you look at the forms and compare the three forms of the three countries, and you can clearly see why in 2026 Vanuatu makes a lot of sense. It's not about the respect of these passports. None of these passports have great respect, for sure. It's a CBI, it's a pay for passport scheme. A lot of EU countries are not going to agree with it, or they're not going to be happy with any CBI passport. Even if you get a Turkey passport or a Caribbean passport, once the ETA goes live, it's not if, it's just when. It's a matter of time. Once it goes live, they're going to discriminate, I feel, and this is not immigration advice, my personal opinion, with the ETA. Once they detect this is a paid for passport scheme, all of those passports are going to have the same respect. So if you're anyways going to get a CBI, then Vanuatu, I think, is the right choice, because you open up a lot in visa free. It's a better respected passport. It's a non-African option. A lot of countries these days feel, and I'm not saying that, it's just based on stats, they feel that there's a lot of asylum cases or a lot of immigration that happens from regions like Africa. So this is in Pacific. Not a lot of people are filing asylum from Vanuatu in other countries. So in that sense, I think this is a better travel document. It's a more private option. I don't feel it makes sense to wait for any other program. Any new program does not make any sense, because the due diligence is going to be super high. The requirements, the bar is going to be super high. With Vanuatu, this is an old program with old forms. They've not updated it. They have lost a lot of access, especially the EU access, and no one wants EU access these days, because with ETA, almost every passport has lost the pure visa-free access. So Vanuatu, number one choice. Number two choice, I think, would still be Sao Tome, because again, there's some problems with the Nauru forms that I feel that puts Sao Tome at number two. Number three option, it's the last one I feel, is the least private one, because if you open up the forms, they have the due diligence, and it almost feels that this is designed to please the Western forces. The problem is that they had the best due diligence to make them happy, but they lost all the access one after the other. Each access was terminated from the Nauru passport. So I think they have lost on both fronts. Haven't been able to attract any investors, only hardly 20 or 20 plus applications in that space, which is super low for any program. So no one really showed any interest in Nauru. And I think the main reason is not the price. Even if they keep discounting that program, even if they made it 20K, I think a lot of people would not be interested in providing all their sensitive information to a place like Nauru. So in that sense, I think it's definitely last on my list. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you rather wait for Argentina, or you think it does not make sense to wait for this program? And let me know what is your favorite current CBI on this list. Are you thinking of starting any CBI? And if yes, then which one? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because the moment there's any update to any of these programs, I promise you, you would be the first one to be notified. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.